What I want you to do is grab a pen and grab paper, and I want you to take some notes, because I'm going to share with you some stuff that I wish someone shared with me when I started my career. If you are a career firefighter, you're going to find value here. If you are a volunteer firefighter, you will find value here. If you're a chief officer, a driver, it doesn't matter. A firefighter is a firefighter, especially in the public side. So first thing I want to talk about, and there's just a couple slides in this presentation that are similar or the same as my previous one, just a couple. And this is just one of them. 3 things that will make or break every organization: strong leadership, dedicated people, and a winning culture. And number 1 and 2 define number 3. So strong leadership starts anywhere. See, what we need in every organization, and every organization in America needs this, what we need is layered leadership. Layered leadership means that 99% of all leadership in any organization comes not from the top, but from throughout the organization. And think about this. When we respond to a scene, who actually deals with the people? Well, you do. I do. I may be a deputy chief. You may be a first-year firefighter. It doesn't matter. We all do. So you never know when that moment's going to come where you have to have a conversation with people. I just did this podcast for new recruits at the Bloomfield Fire Department. We talked a little bit about this. I know some of them will be listening to this as well, and we talked about some tips. But listen, I always used and taught my firefighters to use this feel, felt, why technique. You know, when somebody's upset because you broke their windows out or something happened, and they want to know why firefighters are doing this, whatever it may be. Listen, I know how you feel. I would have felt the same way, but let me explain why. I teach them some little techniques on how to deal with people, because it's important. You know, for example, how do you deal with an angry customer if you own a business? Well, I teach people you want to build a relationship that lasts. So listen, apologize, solve, and thank. Listen to what they say, apologize that they feel the way they do, solve their problem, and thank them for bringing it to you. And that's a whole nother class for another time. But the point is, you are a leader, even if you don't have anything on your collar. That doesn't matter. What does matter is that you bring the right attitude and the right effort to the table. Regardless of rank, regardless of career, volunteer, all of that's irrelevant. You're wearing a patch. And that leads us to number 1, respect the job. For every single person who wears a firefighter's uniform, there's at least 100 people that wish they could. Now, I mentioned I just did a new recruit class. When I posted that I was going to be doing a new recruit class on a webinar for that organization, I had somebody actually send me a private message and said, "Chief, do you know where they are on the hiring list?" I said, "I really don't know much about that at all." Turns out that individual is on the list and wants to be a firefighter in the worst way. And I thought, man, if that is not a sign of how valuable this career is for people that are doing it as a career, but even the people that are doing it volunteer. You know, I've been to plenty of volunteer organizations where they actually have enough people volunteering. And then I've been to some where they can't get enough. And by the way, we'll talk a little bit about that as why people work or volunteer their time during this webcast. But respect the job. In most polls in America, you are ranked number 1 in career satisfaction. Forbes magazine ranked us among the 10 happiest jobs, and we're always listed among the most respected professions. That being said, I've never heard a group of people whine and complain more than a group of firefighters. And I'm joking, but actually I'm really not joking. Sometimes it starts as a joke, but then it turns into something where it becomes like this culture where people walk around complaining as if it's the worst job ever, when it's actually one of the greatest. So when it comes to respect the job, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. You will find fault with your organization. Of course you will, because there's fault and there's challenges with every organization. I'm trying to encourage people to be the people that make the positive change in their organization, because that can be you. And it starts not just in the fire station. It obviously starts there. It starts at that kid. Listen, all the great things and all the bad things that happen in a fire service usually start at the kitchen table in the fire station, right? You know, all the great ideas come from there. And then some of the worst ones start with one firefighter turning to another and saying, "Hey, you know what would be funny?" And all of a sudden, they take something that was a little joke to an extreme and end up getting themselves in trouble. We'll talk about that actually very soon. Now, don't criticize, condemn, and complain. Look for the answers, look for the solutions, look for what you can do to make your organization better, because you can. That symbol that you wear on your shirt, and firefighters are so easy to identify because of that symbol, but that symbol that you wear on your shirt stands for something. It stands for dedication, tradition, honor, service. And it's a wonderful thing. Now, the outsiders, people, civilians, they don't know exactly what the symbol means, but they do know it means firefighter. So everything you do represents all of us in their eyes. I'm going to give you the same advice that I give my own 3 boys, which is be a leader and make good decisions. It's something that I say to them regularly. Be a leader and make good decisions. Now, DTRT, do the right thing. I see people, hashtagging that. I see people, putting that everywhere in the fire service. DTRT, DTRT. Well, listen, I want you to do the right thing. But when your actions contradict your words don't mean anything. So DTRT means really do the right thing. And that's when you're on or off duty. And I'm not saying, listen, you need to go live the most moral, perfect life. Listen, I try to live my life where I try to do the right thing all the time. And doing the right thing all the time is pretty much impossible because we make mistakes. But the goal is to learn from the mistakes. So, this is why I can't do this again. And some of my favorite people in this world are people that have made really big, really bad mistakes, but have owned it and said, you know what? I'm going to own this. I'm going to stand up and admit that I made a mistake, and we're going to learn from this. Now, that leads to number 2. Experience is not the best teacher. We've been told that our whole life. So this is one of the 25 things that every firefighter should know and do. You should know that experience is not the best teacher. And I'll tell you why. Well,